So I want you all to imagine when you were little kids and you were in elementary school, when you had the chance to go on a field trip. Now, this field trip we're going to go on is going to an art museum. Today I'm going to talk about art culture, specifically in the American societies and how it's transforming due to everything that's been going on recently. In one article written by Christine Spoler in the National Geographic titled in the When the World Opens, Will Art Museums Be There? There was a survey done by American Alliances of Art Museums, and it said that out of the 850 museums in the United States today, only 10% were confident that they were going to reopen after the pandemic. Despite the pandemic, it's increasingly alarming to note that so many people are having to either close their business or museum and lose jobs just so they can keep something on the table for people versus having to express themselves and share that with the world and make money on that. It's really bizarre to think like everything that's been hitting home from from 2020 up until now, and like how artists are striving to like find new ways to innovate from everything that's been going on or in music and art. And it's just really subjective in art general. I think mostly in America we have a lot of freedom where it's like we can go out and see graffiti and we count that as art, or we express ourselves in clothing and that's art. Music is art. There's just a lot of little outlets that we like don't pick up as we're growing up until we see it firsthand. And I thought that was just really key to noting. Another grim reality that was faced to an artist when they were thinking about how to display the enormity and big reality that this pandemic had was in an article called How Art Has Helped Us Make Sense of COVID 19's Incomprehensible Toll, by Cindy Combs, and also published in the National Geographic, where it said the United States has now lost more than 250,000 people to COVID 19, although that number could be much higher due to misdiagnosis and other classifications. And I wanted to share that she has a little art exhibit in the Washington, D.C., like right out of the White House, where it has little flags for every person that has died of COVID 19 in that city alone. And I was like, that's just like an overwhelming number. And she compared it to Australia, where I think, or New Zealand, one of those countries where they have the lowest number. And they're like, can you imagine if America would have taken different precautions? And I was like, wow. Um, Another example where someone was trying to do something about this and like bring awareness was locally in Sherman Oaks, California, where a 13-year-old named Madeline Fugate looked towards the AIDS Memorial Museum, and she had to talk to her mom about it because her mom had helped out in an AIDS memorial quilt where each little pattern was sectioned off for someone that had passed away from AIDS, and it hit home to her mom because she had lost someone to AIDS, and she by helping out in that quilt memorial, she said it helped her heal and realize that that person was no longer with her, but was still as a part of history and will always be there alongside everyone else that has tragically passed away. And Madeline was like, I look towards that as an example so that I can be my own um, trendsetter or like forefronter and help myself heal, but also everyone else that I know that has either had someone diagnosed or gone through any difficult experiences. And moving on from like the grim reality, we go to like the more modern reality where in an article titled Art in the 2010s, the most striking and shocking images, written by Kelly Grover in 2019 and published in the BBC, it says neither sculpture nor painting, yet both the series challenges conventional categories and hovers between two traditional modes of seeing and saying, a recurring aspiration of art of the now. And one key element from that was that art now, we kind of tend to joke about it because it's more modern, and we'll go out and we'll see like something taped to a wall like a banana, and somehow that's art, or we'll paint something that's like a chair and we'll be like, hey, it's modern art now. But the reality of that is that artists are trying to make a social commentary on like, hey, this is happening somewhere in the world, and that's why we chosen to do like put a banana on the wall because we're trying to spread awareness. Um, One final piece of advice or article that I found was Keith Haring, the political side of a pop art legend. He was an artist in New York, and he mostly does social commentary on like anything around LGBT, the AIDS memorial or epidemic, and like anything going on during the 80s. He was the person to go to, and he was classified by having neon lights and trying to like destroy societal expectations. One final message I'll leave you is by is a quote by artist named ooh, she didn't have it. There is no artist name for this one. But she said, rather I'm trying to point out that using I'm using art to educate, inspire, and empower anything that I see in the world. Thank you. Okay, stop. That was horrible. I think I went over. Okay. Any questions?
What made you pick this topic?
Honestly, I had to decide between like art or cancel culture, but cancel culture is like really difficult to talk about because there's like fine lines between everything. So I decided to do art culture because my room is filled with a lot of art, and I've taken art courses and art history, and I try to go to like art museums, and I don't know, just art has always been like drawing to me, and I'm just like I want to talk about art.
Got you.
That's cool. Anything else or anyone else?